Hello, welcome back to the Cutting Room Floor, the show where your favorite creator, me hopefully, sits down and talks about some fantastic projects. Today, it is a big one for me. If you've been around the channel for any amount of time, you know I talk about this one all the time because this is probably my favorite project. One of my favorite projects I've made up until this point. When I first started this show, this was a project that I definitely wanted to talk about. And it's one of the reasons that I decided to start the show, so that I could talk about it. I'm talking about the Cult of Mara series, but not the entire thing. If you don't know what the Cult of Mara series is, this is a series that I filmed from August of 2020 for an entire year until August of 2021, following myself playing Liam, a fictional version of myself, who is targeted and hunted by a cult over the course of a year. Also in this series, my best friend Matthew, Cameron, Shai, and Joseph. I'm not going to spoil it just yet. We are going to talk about spoilers, so if you haven't seen it, the top link in the description is the link to the playlist. Go check it out. Today we're only talking about Act 1, which is testing out the Randonautica app all the way down to I'm done. So if you just want to catch up to what we're talking about today, that's what you need to do. This is easily and probably will always be one of my favorite projects that I've ever made. And I love talking about it. So I'm so excited for this. Let's get right into it. A little casual, not so casual. Tricycle. That's the Cult of Mara symbol, by the way. Okay, maybe this isn't as good as I thought. This was a fun one. I really enjoyed it because I've uploaded these onto my Instagram. I can't imagine anybody else playing like this part. Because I can't imagine doing this with anybody else and talking to anybody else like this. So starting off, Act 1 only covers about the first 4 months of the series. About August to December. That being testing out the Randonautica app and all the following videos up until I'm done. Which was, in my mind, the end of the first act of the series. The second act picks up immediately afterwards with the 2021 announcement. Around that time, you can pick any of those videos to start with. But you for sure have to do the Fantastic Stream video from there until entry 16. And if you cut out the Matthew Diaries, then end of Act 2 is hitting a dead end. Act 3 is things have been quiet until the finale. When we talk about the finale, it will be its own videos because it is a whole thing to talk about. And I want to be able to dedicate its own episode because these are going to be long, so they are going to be split up. I don't know for sure yet. I might not make Matthew Diaries their own thing. I might just talk about them in the context of Act 2. But we'll be talking about Act 1, Act 2, Act 3, the finale, and then the movie. So there's quite a few Cutting Room Floor episodes that you can look forward to. That being said, Act 1. I've talked about this before. I grew up watching YouTube. I started my channel in 2016 following the conclusion of the Psycho series for McJuggernuggets. He was a big influence on a lot of my channel. The name, for one. Actually pulling the trigger to start it and then renaming it to McMaplet. Big influence there. But on top of that, the Psycho series was, I thought, a really incredible piece of storytelling. And I really liked the way that it was portrayed as real because I felt like that added to the enjoyment. And I've always been a big fan of channels like Nightmind, Nexpo, specifically Nightmind, because that's a channel that goes into and delves into all these alternate reality games, unfiction series on YouTube of fictional storytelling. And so all that together inspired me. And so when I decided to take a gap year after graduating, I decided I wanted to make my own series. Something bigger than I'd done before. Something that I portrayed as real. I said in reality. And I lived through. And I push through it, and I aim bigger than I've done before. And so in that time of prepping, planning, I came up with a couple ideas: stalker, cult, ghosts, these different things. And it wasn't until a Discord call with Cameron where I really fleshed out the idea, and we came to the conclusion, we're like, yeah, so the goal is to do a stalker cult, because I wanted this to go for a year, August to August. But I'm really leaning towards the stalker, but I can only get it until like January, maybe even March. I can't get to August. I also don't know how to end it. And that's when Cameron was like, well, why not have like a cult of stalkers? Or like the stalker's a part of a cult, and the cult takes over as the antagonist. And I kind of like, you know what, that works. And from there, the ball just kind of rolled, and it became this massive boulder of suddenly we had a series, we had a story. Not fully fleshed out. We had a rough idea of the big story beats. Story starts. Liam as a character doesn't evolve. Matthew steps into his own role, but out of the main story for a little bit. Matthew becomes kind of the catalyst for the rest of the series. And from there, I am talking about spoilers. I did say that earlier, but there will be spoilers in this. So if you have not seen this, I highly recommend checking it out. If not, that's okay. But if you do want to check it out, don't worry. Top link in the description. Go check out the playlist. You can see it. But the Cult of Mara series, let's start at the beginning. Because I wasn't sure how to start it. I had a couple ideas. I'm like, how do I get marked without immediately revealing the fictional nature of the series? And there was a couple ideas, and luckily, that was around the time that Randonautica was trending, and it was like creepy and all this stuff. And I tried to do a video over the summer with Matthew, but it just didn't work out. And so coming around to it, I was like, well, now it's a random marking of Liam, so I don't have to come up with this justification of why he was targeted by the cult. That was kind of a thing that me and Cameron talked about and tried to figure out, was like, how do we justify Liam being targeted by the cult beyond him being targeted? Like, we couldn't think of a reason and then a solution to that. But a random marking, that opens the door. Just having it be a chance encounter, that kind of is a cool idea. Takes a lot of the, like, takes away the you're a chosen one, because that was something we'd bounce around, was Liam was this chosen vessel, but it's like, narratively that doesn't make a ton of sense, and how do we find that out? But this chance encounter, that was an interesting opening, and that's kind of where we went from. I had a notebook that I just filled with everything. I would literally write down each video title, a bit of a description of it, and we'd go from there. I broke it down into months. I had everything. And so we do all that, and then I have Shy, Cameron, and Matthew over. And while we're all hanging out, this is lost media because I can't find it, I record our planning, where we all sit there and we plan. And I still only have until I think about May really planned out. And as we sit there, because they're all on board and we're all working on it together, I'm like, so how do we get from May to August? How do we get to the end of the series? How do we end the series? We didn't know how to end it, but we did bridge that gap of from May to August, we've gotten there. That is really when the mental turmoil for Liam really kicks it up to 11, and friends become enemies, his support system disappears, and he takes a lot of this new stress onto himself alone. And that was the goal, because the idea was Liam was going to break by the end of it, and that's what I think we accomplished. But let's talk about Act 1. A little baby Matthew. But it was really setting everything up. Like, it was setting up all the character conflicts, character stories, and everything. Okay, this one's a good one, unless I'm wrong, but I enjoyed this one a lot. Obviously, we start with Randonautica video. Looking back, I think there's a lot of benefits. Like there's a lot of pros, but there's also a lot of things that would change. For one, I would get rid of the freaking gum. It bothers me so much that I started this massive series with gum in my mouth. But I just got this brand new microphone, so I didn't realize how I was going to pick it up. Should I have been chewing gum regardless? No, not when I was filming a video. But I liked how unintentional that this was. And up until nearly the end of the series, this was not directly linked to the narrative. I did not call it out as being an in-universe video until nearly the end. But I tucked into the middle of the marking. And so we go, and I'd say that I think carving the symbol into the dirt and me kind of bringing attention to that takes away from it. But they just show up on the trees, and the trees are really important for the rest of it because they were there the entire year. And so I think the tripping and the accidental marking is a really good way to start it. And I think this whole idea of the intent was dangerous. Here's a hint. That was not the point that it gave me, but that was where I was going because that's what I was planning to do. Stuff it in between, have it be dangerous, have it be go, no it's not, and blow it off because for Act 1, my character's main feature was that he did not take it seriously. This was a nothing to him. It wasn't anything of importance. He didn't take it seriously. And it drove a wedge, and it sets his failure up. And that was the point. And so it's just a chance marking. If I didn't touch that tree, the series wouldn't happen, but the tree is touched and Liam is marked. And we continue from there. And so at this point, we're laying the foundation. And Cameron and Shai really don't have a role much in this. Cameron actually doesn't show up at all in Act 1. Except for, sorry, I misspoke. He doesn't show up in any direct stalker cult videos. He shows up in the Halloween Hall, which is in a runaround way related because that photo of my car is what helps bolster it's a stalker and not a fan argument. But he doesn't actually show up in any related videos where he's acknowledging it. Shai and Matthew are the only ones in there. And Joseph. But I'm laying the foundation, and I'm the stalker for all of Act 1. Even, I think most of Act 2, I'm the stalker. Act 3 is where I finally let go of the reins and gave access to the accounts to other people. Because for the longest time, it was me doing it all. My fan account. So originally I filmed the video, the little clip that I cut, that was going to be uploaded. But my reaction of it, no, this is stupid, was 100% genuine. I went, this is stupid, this makes no sense. Like, I don't like how this feels. It feels like I'm making something bigger out of nothing. So I was like, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do it again. And then I got up to the lake, and I'm hanging out, and I'm like writing, and I'm looking through the series. I'm like, I want to start it in this way of like directly acknowledging that there's now a stalker, and like acknowledging the fact I want how close like they're happening is like the random outcome marking happened, and really quickly after, the stalker shows up, and that was intentional. It was like, link the two of them, link the two videos. And a lot of people did. And so we do that. And I'm up at the lake and I'm like, why don't I acknowledge that I was overblowing it? And like make the first post and then just like do that. And I take the video originally because I don't go, this isn't believable. I go, well, this is stupid. So I take that, I film up at the lake, and I put it together, and I feel like it is slow, and it is because I don't have as much of a script as I should have. I think it flows decently well, and I think it does lay the foundation successfully for the rest of the series. It lays what you know what's happening next because of this. So we go from there. And I'm going to take a quick side note, because at this point, I've now fully gone in. I'm invested. The series is rolling. The Randonautica, I can move on and never. If I didn't do any other follow-up videos, the series doesn't happen. It doesn't have to happen. But once I do my first fan account, there's no going back. I mean, there's going back, But at that point, the ball's rolling. And at that point, I'm laying the foundation that I have a stalker, which means I need to tell the people around me. And so I tell my parents, I'm like, hey, just so you know, I'm making a series on YouTube where I have a stalker. So if for whatever reason it gets brought up, I'm not asking you to lie, but don't offer up that it's not true. But don't, like, I'm not saying lie. I'm just saying, like, if the other videos, don't go, yeah, Liam's having a great time. Like, him and his buddies have all been doing that. Just be like, yeah, like, I hadn't heard, actually. Like, just say you haven't heard. Feign ignorance. And that was the idea. That was the approach with that. The other thing I had to do, Joseph's my neighbor. Joseph hadn't been involved up to this point. I talked to him, but he was really busy, and he wasn't fully into doing a series. But I went, yeah, but what's the chances that this could potentially not go viral, but on the off chance that it got views, or that at some point in time this series started to do well and people started seeing it, it'd be really awkward if my next door neighbor suddenly just out of nowhere saw videos of me being stalked. So I told him. But I was very close-knit with the truth. I didn't tell people. And I never lied, but I was not forthcoming with it. I didn't share that this was all fake because I wanted part of the suspense to come from the fact that you couldn't tell if this was real. And obviously you could. But like, without actually having me admit it, it's like, okay, is this real? Is this fake? And so we do my first fan account, and it did well. I was very impressed. And so then we did birthday card in my window. And the original idea was I lift with the window, I do that, I go out for lunch, come vlog with them, come back, and it's there. Because I didn't film with them, I decided not to do that. And I was like, well, Matthew's coming over tomorrow, so we're just going to film it then. And so we do that. And I think it worked out better because Matthew is Matthew is an important character. He is I don't know what word I would use for it. He is the secondary character in Act 1. It's Liam and Matthew. They're the story. It's their relationship. It's Matthew believing in this cult, in this stalker, or not this cult, this stalker, and worrying, and Liam not. And it's causing friction as their beliefs don't mix. Liam doesn't believe in this. Matthew does. Matthew thinks Liam should take this seriously. Liam's tired of it. And so that they don't blend. And so it's causing a lot of friction and a lot of issues. And that's what Act 1 is. It's the deterioration of that friendship. And it's showing in a greater view that Liam is losing his support systems. Right off the bat, his biggest one is Matthew. Matthew gets a hint of it and jumps full into helping Liam. And Liam does not accept that. And that causes issues. And that truly is what causes the rest of the series. So we've done the first 3 videos. And that third one gets it going. Now there's comments on these videos. What are the codes mean? What does it mean? This is creepy. It's a stalker. Which is what I was wanting. And so I'm like, okay, Matthew, like, this is the next video. And like I said, we have the big story beats. There's a hacking, all this stuff. But not each individual video is planned out. It's a lot of these were going gauged and based off of audience reaction. So getting all these comments, it's like, okay, Matthew, let's follow this really quick. Just how you come over and film. It did not feel like a long time. The original idea was he was going to come in and we were going to go over the whole thing and all that. And it just felt a little funky in a couple parts, and it was really long. So I cut it down, and I was like, okay, like I'll make it work. And so that's when really we establish who is in which camp. Matthew sides with the audience. It's creepy, it's a stalker. Liam is naive still. And so this is when the first conflict really starts up you just show up and start accusing me and telling all this stuff like it's a fan. And that's when you start seeing the anger towards Matthew boiling up in Liam and like building. Is Matthew's not only very, very set on something. He's not letting Liam just ignore it. Liam doesn't get to say, I don't believe it, and move on. Matthew's not letting that happen. He's there. He's in it. So from figuring out the messages, we get to, so I've been paying attention. And these are the videos during Spooktober, and there's a couple where I was trying to weave in and out of the story and just show that Liam's maybe coming around a little bit to the ideas. We have So I've Been Paying Attention, For Your Sake, fan update, the Halloween shopping haul. It's clearly the videos are doing well, which is glad because that's the in-universe motivation for why Liam keeps making videos about it. The videos do well, so I keep making videos on that because I want views and to grow. So it's very clear that that's the whole reason, and that it worked out, and it benefited a lot, I feel, from this idea of Liam's getting us going because of it. And so I'm in it. I'm going. And we finally get, and this is when I was really excited because this is the first actual appearance of the stalker. Halloween. I work until 10. And so I'm like, okay, getting home. Joseph, will you help me film this? I need you to be the stalker. You don't have to say anything. Actually, don't say anything. You're wearing a mask. You're acting creepy. You take pictures of me through my window. And so what I'm doing leading up to this point is I'm leaving my window open multiple times so that it's not weird when it's open on Halloween. I'm doing the vlog, and it's time. Stalker's out front, treating as a trick-or-treater. I think he does a fantastic job, and I think not only does he not speak, but he just doesn't move, he just stares at me. And I think that was really the first place where I was like, this is working. I'm regardless of if I believe it or not, I'm entertained. This is a good video. I go downstairs. And if you're not looking for it, you miss the stalker secondary action, which is him taking pictures of me through my window, which get posted and which links that to be the first appearance of the stalker. Then we get to what happened on Halloween night. And from there, the ball rolls. We keep going through them. And finally, we get to a call from a paranoid friend. Matthew's trying to push it. And at this point, we're really seeing the dynamic of the two. Where despite everything that's happening and how objectively creepy it is, Liam refuses to acknowledge it. Liam refuses to hear Matthew out and go, you know what? Maybe you are right. Maybe something is a little funky here. Liam doesn't even denounce the actions. He goes, don't come to my house. Stop it. This is the second time that the stalker has come to his house and the third time that the stalker has followed him. And so it's really at this point where it's and it feels bad to say this. I was hoping the audience was going to start turning on Liam. And they kind of were. Because it was Liam's refusing to play into this. Liam's refusing to give us anything. But we keep going. We keep trying. We keep pushing. We keep going. Finally, we get the channel hack. This was I feel the moment where it established the series as what it was. It wasn't just gonna be us talking about these messages on Instagram or having a chance appearance on Halloween night about a clown. This was the day where it was and we step over the line, and now Liam's account was hacked. And if you follow him on Instagram, you got the story early. If not, you waited until it happened on YouTube. Where I actually unlisted my channel for a weekend. It was hard to do, and it made me a little worried and a little nervous. But I did it for the full weekend. We come back from that. And it's okay. This is a channel hack. And I honestly, I feel the Instagram video really does a good job of selling the fact that I'm not involved. And so I go and I change my passwords, and I'm typing in my own password and all this stuff. I'm okay, how could I say I'm hacked? I don't have two-factor authentication on. That's how I'm going to say I'm not going to get hacked again. Because I bounced around the idea of this being a reoccurring thing. I'm that's stupid. That just makes me feel it makes me seem like an idiot to the audience. So we get there. channel's back, finally. But we've now established that the stalker isn't just watching, they're interacting and they're taking steps. And they're bold. They come to my house and they interact with me. They follow me and Cameron around. They hack my channel. This stalker is more than Liam even might be willing to admit. And he was getting close to admitting that this was weird. And then we go, not the day I expected to film. Which is the first video that Shai shows up in. Even though it's just his voice. But this is a turning point. Because now we're getting to, see, for season 1, or for act 1, I keep calling it season 1, act 1. We've been kind of going like this. Like there's been like some bumps, some interesting stuff. But right here is where we hit the up. And suddenly it's like, things are happening and things are really obviously coming towards what's been building this entire act, which is like a confrontation of the different mindsets between Liam and Matthew. And so you've seen it build, and Liam's like trying to come around to it, but he's still really resistant. And he's refusing to connect everything that's happening that's clearly not a coincidence with this account. It's still a fan in his head. When we finally get to not the day I expected to film, Liam's calling Shai to make plans. Shai refuses to hang out. Why? Because he's worried about the stalker. Because now it's not just Matthew saying this. This is the first time that someone outside of the Matthew-Liam dynamic has acknowledged the stalker and cited it as an issue. And this is really what sets Liam off. Because Shai won't hang out. Shai won't do anything with Liam. So now, not only is Liam at odds with Matthew, but he's going to start feeling alienated and isolated from his friends because they won't interact with him because of everything. And because Liam's been making the videos, the stalker has been acting up. And so now we get to the point of Liam has to choose, and it's coming around to these couple of videos. Are the views that Liam gets from these stalker videos worth what it's doing to his relationships? The answer is no. That was the original idea, was no, it's not. And Liam does the I'm done, and that's how Act 1 ends. But now Shai is like, yeah, Matthew's right. Matthew's been saying this. Matthew says this. And all Liam hears is Matthew's fault. Matthew told Shai not to hang out with me. Matthew's the reason now. So from here, Liam decides there's only one thing to do. He needs to confront Matthew. And we get to, honestly, one of my favorite videos of not only the entire series. It is one of my favorite videos of the entire series. But one of my favorite videos. Because I think that the chemistry and the dynamics between me and Matthew really shines in this one. Because things didn't go well with Matthew. Me showing up, and I preface the video. Liam prefaces with, yep, so I'm meeting up with Matthew for lunch, and I'm going to try to ease into the conversation, and we're going to talk about things, and we're going to talk it out. I'm going to be like, hey, you need to stop telling people, because people are worried they're going to stop hanging out with me, and it's not that. Liam's still held dead fast in that it's not a stalker. And so we get there, and it's just been established. I'm going to ease into it. Walk up, first thing Matthew says, so how's the stalker? That throws Liam off, and that jumps it. So Matthew and I had met up for that day. We had lunch, and I was like, okay, I'm going to go to my car. When I come back, jump right into it. And your head, dead set. It is a stalker, it is creepy, it's time to confront it, Liam. So Liam goes back to his car. I get in, start the car, pull the camera out, turn it off, give a little preamble, give myself a pep talk. I'm going to try and ease into it. I'm going to try and broach the topic. Lately, I approach Matthew right off the bat. How's a stalker? That sets Liam off. And it turns into a fight. right away it's, well, have you been watching the videos? You see the last video I uploaded? Oh yeah, Shai doesn't want to hang out with me because of you. And it's right there immediately. Blame's placed on Matthew. Not on this account. The account at the center of this. On Matthew. And Liam's done with Matthew. Liam's mad. Matthew is sitting there going, why are you getting mad at me? Why are you taking this out on me? I didn't do this. The account is the issue. Focus on the account, the stalker. And he's still trying to get through to Liam during this conversation, and Liam's not having it. It's you were doing this, you don't want me a friend. Why are you trying to take my friends away? Like, take my friends away. And right here is where Liam goes, you don't want me a friend. And he walks away. He gives himself the answer to that question. Walks away and goes, so you heard it there, Matthew doesn't want to be my friend anymore. And this is one of those times where I was like, Matthew, I will say you don't want to be my friend. Do not acknowledge that question. Do not answer it. Because obviously the answer is no. He's like, yes, he still wants to be his friend. But Liam needs to make that decision for himself in his mind and think that Matthew's the one who made that decision. Because because what happens to Matthew next is because of Liam. And so Liam goes, I'm done. You don't need my friend anymore. That's fine. Get to my car. Drive away. I just spots the parking lot. Fun fact. And I go, well, you heard it here. Matthew doesn't want to be my friend anymore. He's done. But it's not... You watch the video, you know that's not what he said. But he gets to the car. Matthew doesn't want to be my friend anymore. He said it. Okay. That's fine if that's what Liam wants to believe. Drive home. And this was something I was building towards, because I was building towards the stalker really stepping into my life, like Liam's life, and becoming a presence. We have Halloween. We have the channel hack. We have the break-in. And this is the escalation of, like, it's now up here. And so I was originally like, oh, no one's gonna be home. I'm gonna do like a whole doors are open, like, big thing. Then my dad was home, so I'm like, I don't want to do that. So windows open, room's a mess. I take tape and I put it all up. Gates open, all this stuff. I'm like, oh my God. Run, go around. The next one, the break-in. And Liam gets in there and it's like, oh my God, what happened to my room? What is this symbol on the wall? And this is the first time that the symbol has directly, very clearly, been related to the stalker. This is the first time that everything is kind of falling together and like linking. And it's like, if you go from this video and you look back on the past 5 months, you see this symbol show up in testing the Randonautica app. You see this symbol with the Instagram account, and then you start putting the pieces all together. You're like, this is something bigger than just a stalker. But Liam doesn't. Liam refuses still to even entertain the idea that maybe something is wrong and maybe this isn't just a fan of the channel. And so I clean up. He puts the camera down. And at this point, there's only two options for Liam. Either he has to finally admit that this stalker, this account is a stalker and that there's something else going on, or the choice he makes, ignore it to the point that no more videos. That's what Liam does. Instead of saying, it's a stalker, I was wrong, I'm trying to fix this, we had to fix this, we had to figure this out, apologizing to Matthew, I'm done comes out. And I'm done is Liam sitting there saying, I'm done making videos about this. I'm done with this situation. Obviously making videos about it has been encouraging this, and I'm tired of it. I've said don't come to my house. I've said this, and this. And that's the end of Act 1. And that video directly causes the rest of the series. That decision. I had a blast making the Cult Tamara, and really dipping my toes into this and then jumping in fully. I learned a lot, and there's a lot of things that I would maybe approach differently now, but I don't think that I would change anything too much. I think I would go with a full house break-in. I think that maybe I would cut some of these videos down to be shorter and be straighter to the point. But I also think they're very natural, and they fall very much in line with my videos that I was uploading at the time, where I wasn't as straight to the point. And I think that sets it up really well. And there's also the incentive of you check it out because you don't know when Liam's making another video about it. But you do know that Liam doesn't believe. And Liam's not going to be entertaining the ideas that Matthew is. And Matthew is the voice of the audience. I talked about this in the Patreon exclusive episode this week, where I talked about the curator, where the camera was the audience. In this series, Matthew is the voice of the audience and the camera is the eyes of the audience. They are characters as much as Liam is. And so setting all this up pushes the ball rolling. Things didn't go well with Matthew directly leads into entry 1 of the Matthew Diaries. They are directly linked. And I think this is really fun. I think it's also a really nice stopping point for the series, where you can get to this point and take a break and go, that's the end of this story arc, the deterioration of Liam and Matthew's friendship. Because also, fun fact, things didn't go well with Matthew is Matthew's last appearance as that version of the character in the series. His last appearance for a couple of months, because behind the scenes, part of the reason that we originally wrote in that Matthew goes missing is because he was going on a missions trip. He was going for 5-6 months on a missions trip, leaving in January. So I had to finish at the beginning of December because I spent the next month working with Matthew to get the rest of it filmed. Because beginning of January, he leaves on a plane and he's in another country, then another continent for 6 months. So we can't film then. And like, hey, we also really need to start establishing some stuff before he goes. So we finish, I'm done. We go headfirst into the Matthew Diaries. I'm working with him, we're getting all that done. And we're setting it up because the idea is, again, I'm working out the idea that maybe this series starts to get views. I don't want Matthew to be seen in Hawaii, which is where he went, before he's missing. I don't want Matthew to be seen in Hawaii before it's set up as to why. And so we go fully into it. And we work really hard, going off the idea that I'm done. Now I don't have to talk about this. I also don't have to make as many videos because I'm taking the videos a step back. Because not only am I done making videos about this stalker and the situation there, I'm done making videos that are giving too much to that situation. And so a lot of the vlogs aren't happening because that directly goes towards that situation. And we go from there, and that's Act 1. I think it's a very strong foundation for the series, and I think it's a very strong start. I really enjoy Act 1, and I really enjoyed watching it back. Here's a question. I actually stepped on the carving in the ground. It kills me that this was like how my character acted in the beginning. This is actually probably my favorite video of Act 1. And with that is the end of the 14th episode of The Cutting Room Floor. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know if you've seen The Cult of Mara and what you think of Act 1. Also, if you're excited for Act 2, we are going to be talking about The Cult of Mara quite a bit over the next month. Unless you guys let me know in the comments that you want me to split them up. Because one of two options, either I just go bang, bang, bang every single week, it's a new Cult of Mara Cutting Room Floor episode, or I alternate. This week Cult of Mara, next week something else, then Cult of Mara, moving from there. Let me know. I appreciate you guys being here. Thank you so much to the patrons. Their names are all coming up here. It means the world. If you want to become a patron and get exclusive access to 2-day early access to this episode, as well as a exclusive Patreon episode of the show every Tuesday at 11 a.m. You can go click the top link in the description down below. Below that is the link to the Cult Tomorrow playlist, so go check that out if you haven't. I appreciate you. Subscribe if you haven't already. I love you all to death. Drop a like if you enjoyed this, and I'll see you in another episode of The Cutting Room Floor very soon.